Hello and welcome back to Series 1, Module 6. This module, we're going to cover money as debt and debt as money. And if you want to say money is debt and debt is money, you're also right about that. And I understand that at this point, some of you might be going, hang on a second, what exactly are you talking about? Debt is debt and debt is not good. And I got a debt service with my hard-earned money. Yes, all that can be true and more. And that's what I want to dive into with everybody today on this module. So first thing first, the reason why we say money is debt is simply because of this very point, is that modern money, especially, I'm just going to say Canadian dollars. The Canadian dollars is what we call a fiat currency, and it's created through the central banking system. And so what that also means is many of us may have been exposed to this little tidbit and this little factoid, which is the fact that the US dollar was taken off the gold standard in 1971. However, the Canadian dollar actually was taken off the gold standards in 1929, even way before the US ever did. So what that means is our money devalued way before the US dollars. And so for those of you, you might be having an aha moment right now thinking, why does it always seem like the US dollar is stronger than the Canadian dollars? Amongst economical factors, yes, this was actually one of the main reasons why it always appears that way. Other than back in 2010, there was a brief period where the Canadian dollars actually was stronger in the last almost 3 decades now at this point. And so with that said, money is simply created. So that's actually good news for those of you who are serious about learning about how money works. Because if money is simply created, not just trading hours for dollars, if money can be created by just about anybody these days, why not by you? And how do you create that? I want you to think about it this way. When you, if you had the experience of doing this, when you signed a mortgage document or even a personal loan document, what you're effectively doing is creating that amount of money in the world, into the banking system. Why? It may appear as if the bank has that money. However, you don't yet. You've created that through an agreement or an IOU. And so let's just say that you sign a mortgage document for the amount of $500,000 Canadian. What that means is that you have just created $500,000 out of nowhere, simply out of nowhere. And then you're going to spend the next 20, 25, 30 years, depending what your amortization period is, paying that down. So what you're effectively saying is that when you sign that mortgage document, taking out $500,000, promising to pay it back over the next 30 years, it means that you have committed yourself to creating $500,000 in the next 30 years. Now, I want you to think about it this way. Imagine how cool would it be if you can say, I promise to take out $5 million and promise to pay it back in the next 30 years. And meanwhile, as you are paying it back, the loan that you've taken out is also helping you create cash flow or a monthly profit that feeds into your bank account that ultimately supports the lifestyle that you want. So I really want you to hear that once again. If you can create money, why not add a zero, two zeros behind it? And so this is what financial education is going to train you on how to do just that. And so when the banks issue loans, they create new money. Effectively, you're the one creating the money that enters into what they call circulation. And so with that said, money itself really is born out of debt in a fiat currency, and that is the Canadian dollar. And so right off the bat, this is why inflation and interest rates are tied to all of this lending activity. If you recall, during COVID lockdown times, all the loans or all the free money that the government was printing to support people through the hard times, it all came back in the form of high inflations during the period of 2023, 2024, and now carrying into our current state and maybe a little bit more moving forward as well. And hopefully that sheds a little bit of light. And I just want to share this with you. You can even go on YouTube and just type in money as debt or money is debt. There are quite a few documentaries or short videos that have been produced to really explore and explain that concept as well. So if this is something that you're interested in, I definitely highly recommend and invite you to go into YouTube and search for those videos to enhance your understanding of this. However, really, I gave you the Coles Notes version. I'm not sure if everybody understands Coles Notes. I'm kind of dating myself here now. So, with that said, again, the conclusion is exactly what I put down here for everyone. Our financial system is debt driven or backed by debt effectively. So, money doesn't exist until someone borrows it. And this is how the rich get richer if you think about it. So, a lot of us tend to look at, oh, the Forbes magazine just published that so and so is worth this much now. Well, let's take a look at their debt loads, and you will find that there are actually very direct correlations. And so at this point, you're probably going, all right, I think I kind of got that, or I've got that. And so what? Why is that so important? All I want to do is learn how to invest and make some more money. Well, as I mentioned from the very beginning, this is truly what sets TYT trained investors apart from everybody else is completely rewriting the understanding of money and the money script as a result. And so what? As I've mentioned before in previous modules, I really just want to share with other people on how to play the game better. That's all. That's all. No more, no less. When you know how to play the game of money better, it becomes much more enjoyable and life becomes ultimately easier. I know it's not all about money. However, money to me is one of the most amazing and most effective tools to help me maximize my existence and my living experiences right now when I'm still breathing and living. And so, with that said, if money is created through debt, then debt is really the most effective tool, not just a tool to acquire assets. And if you remember, coming out of the previous module, you also understand the difference between the poor mindset, the middle class mindset, and the wealth mindset or the rich mindset. And so, what that really means is the rich and the wealthy understand that debt can be good as long as they use it to acquire assets that are income producing so that it supports and creates that cycle to feed your expenses and feed your liabilities all at the same times. It's just that unfortunately, so many of us, we get into bad debt when we don't understand it. And this is why debt in general seems like such a scary, scary word for a lot of people because of mainstream media, in my opinion. And the funny thing about it is that there's been so many books, so many shows, and even podcasts discussing this particular subject. Are credit cards good or bad? I'm going to say credit cards are amazing for two different reasons. Number one, they have what we call balance transfer offers that investors call investor cards and cheap and free money sometimes. Number one. Number two, a lot of the good credit cards actually give you a lot of added benefits through loyalty programs. And so we can discuss that all day long, but I want to just really put it out there right now is that credit cards are also an amazing tool for everyday living for financially educated people because they understand how to use it to their advantage. A lot of times it's don't not knowing how to use a certain tool. For example, I always joke that after 15, almost 16 years now being a professional real estate investor, if you gave me a hammer today, it is still more of a weapon than a tool. I'll probably damage something or hurt somebody, including myself. It's definitely not a building tool for me because I don't know how to use it effectively. And the same thing goes for credit and credit cards. I mean, I'm 43 this year now, and in my 43 years of existence, I have never seen a credit card jump out of a wallet and swipe itself. And it's just that, once again, the general public tend to just use credit cards to purchase liabilities. I'm not going to talk about necessities. I'm talking about liabilities or instant gratifications, rather. And so I want everybody to truly understand the difference and just play the game better in the long term. I understand that some habits or old habits die hard, and that is why we call this a journey. Most of us do take 2, 3 years on average to really turn our financial health around. And that's totally okay. Because think about how long it's taken to get you to where you are today. This is the concept of complete ownership. Our current reality is the accumulation and the result of every single choice that we've made to date. And that's fine. If we want a different results, we just gotta start making different choices. And those choices moving forward can now be educated money choices and informed decisions as a result. And so, conclusion, when you borrow to buy assets, your debt now is transformed into income generating money. I want you to read that over and over again for yourself. Maybe some of you want to even take a picture, put it on your cell phone as your wallpaper now, or take out a post-it and post it on your mirror in your bathroom so that it reminds you every single day that debt is good as long as you know how to use it to your advantage. And so with that said, thank you for joining me on this module once again. And as usual, I would like you to share your one key takeaway from this module. And more importantly, actions speak louder than words. What is the one action you will take now? And my bonus question for you from this module is, if you've ever been scared of the word debt or the idea of debt, where do you think it came from? Remember, all we're doing and all I really want to do for everyone, first and foremost, is to rewrite and eliminate the old money script. And so if you had fear, that was probably a learned fear, meaning you weren't born with that fear. It was given to you, it was taught to you, it was imparted on you. And so, how do you think you can eliminate that fear moving forward? So, contemplate, ponder, and I hope you put in the time and the effort to reflect and share. Thank you again, and I will see you at the next module.